I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
So I kind of want to ask you, how is Bitcoin created? Like, how does that work?
It goes through a process of computers, what they do called mining. And in my course, the advanced course, we talk about like what that actually looks like. But in a short, your computer electricity is solving a complicated math problem. And once the math problem is solved, a Bitcoin is then created, which is why the SEC really can't step in between Bitcoin, because it's not made out of thin air. It's actually something has to be done for it to be created. So, and when I bring up the fact that 21 million will ever be mined, there are more than 21 million people on this earth who have $18,000. So the aspect of it being mined is just one where you have a lot of computer power. You mine it. You buy these little rigs, and they start doing the computer things. Man, they start going into the ways of solving these equations to create a Bitcoin. So that's really how it's created. Is if you think of mining like gold.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I thought about whenever you said for gold.
Yeah, think about the difficulty of mining gold. That you probably, I don't know if y'all have done it before, but you've probably seen it on movies where they got the little filter trying to get the gold through the water, all that hard work. That same type of hard work your computer has to go through. So it's not even guaranteed. And the average person don't even need to be mining no more anyway, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to make the Bitcoin if you don't invest into the computer power to do so.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I heard about that. Like, people that's mining Bitcoins, they got to get like big, massive computers. You're not going to just do this on no Chrome.
Like it's like someone asked me the other day. They said, "Well, I really want to get into the mining piece of Bitcoin." Like, in my mind, I want to say, "For what?" Like, if you ready, you're not. I mean, I don't know you. However, like, I know some folks. I know I've seen something. You got to spend like $30,000 just on equipment. Then you got to put money into the cooling to cool down the equipment. Like, it's an investment to try to mine Bitcoin. So, like, that's where I was. Like, if people trying to, like, if they try to shortcut, like, well, I want to create the Bitcoin, like, yo, you better off buying it. Because if you invest in 30K right now into mining Bitcoin,
there's two coins you could have bought already. Almost two coins you could have bought.
I mean, now you could. Now, if you smart enough, you got the stuff. You're going to get some competition. Put it that way. You're going to get some competition. And if your electricity and stuff isn't set like that, you're just gonna be able to brag about how you are a miner.
So, got no coins though.
So like, if you're I ain't even think about it like that. So like, if you're in the process of mining and you experience like a fucking power outage or some shit, is that whole process is lost?
I can't really say because I've never mined. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like if you already have some, you good. If you already done mined it, you pretty good. But excuse me, if you still in the process of doing so, I mean, the technology is pretty up there. So I guess you could just start where you were, but then again, it might not be that easy.
And do you know how many current Bitcoins there are out there right now? Is there like
there's about like, I think there's about like what, 18 million already, 17 million already.
So they only got 4 million left out there.
Yeah, and the last Bitcoin to be mined will be in 2140. So
they already know that?
Yeah, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, this is and I really hope I'm not going over folks' heads, but like this technology has already been predetermined. You know what I mean? Like so like in the course I go over what's a halvening or what happens. But a halvening took place this year. So every 4 years a halvening takes place, just like the election. But so this time, the supply is cut in half. So there were before May, 1,800 Bitcoins were created daily. Now you got 900 being created daily. And when you have companies like Grayscale, MicroStrategy, PayPal, and Square buying more that's going to be created, that's where you have a price increase that you don't experience with everyday money.
Because I kind of want to get into that,
Man,
like with these,
right
different
now,
companies
man.
that's moving into it. But I do want to go back more to your journey just a little bit, because you
Yeah.
said you got into the space in 2016, and you told us off camera at the time it was like what? How much it was? 600?
600 some odd dollars, yeah.
600 some odd dollars. So can we speak to like you riding that wave up? Because I didn't hear about Bitcoin till I think it was closer to like end of 2017, beginning of 2018, before
right around the pop, man.
right around when the bubble popped on it. Can you speak to like that whole ride?
So yeah, I can, man. So that ride was like tremendous. And I know I say this a lot, but the reason I say this is this. My goal for people is to experience a 10 to 20x like I did, which is why I created services I did. Because that ride, even though it sounds short, that ride is serious. So I started off, I was still working retail merchandising. Like I would go on the road 8 days out the week, 12 hours a day, $12 an hour, real manual labor. And when I really started noticing, like, number one, I don't know how to save money. Number two, every time I need to have money, something comes up. I got tired of hitting those cycles. You know what I mean? That rat race cycle, that scarcity cycle, man. Like I just got tired of hitting it. And so when I learned about Bitcoin, I just started buying it. And like the more I bought it, the more I started like looking, into what was going on in the space. And that part alone, like following on Twitter, I could tell how it would scare the average person. You hear the government telling you they're trying to regulate this. You have currency wars going on where you have a lot of other high level crypto people talking about trying to attack the network. You got fake scams going on. You got phishing email going on. Like that's a lot on a person. You know what I mean? So that 10x experience, that's a real thing. But like I tell people, you got to invest into the knowledge and it's good to have a guide. Like I had my homeboy Zay. I had some folks I met in Phoenix called Murex Bitcoin Solutions, Miller L and Free L. They were there like to guide me. So that's why I look to be the people now, that guide to like get waves of people in. But that ride on the way up, like when I started seeing the money go up and up, I was just like, whoa, like that was the most money I had, in my life. Experiencing that was the most money I ever had in my life. And on that way up, that's what I really noticed, like, yo, this is real wealth. This is a wealth builder right here. This is what I feel all Black people need, because that's like a VC venture capital style return within a year and some change. You know what I mean? Like I watch, posts, people put on that sometimes y'all post and other movements post. And it talks about like, you can get an annual 10% return and you can wait 7 years for only a 5x on your money. I'm like, but that will not bring Black people as a whole wealth. You get what I'm saying? Because as a whole, we've been oppressed so long, we need those type of returns. It gives us a level playing field. You talking about being able to have a 20x return in 18 months or less or more or better, the longer you stay in. So now now that I've told you all this, like sometimes like if you see me say something slick on your post, I'm not disrespecting. I'm just trying to shed light to what's real out here now in today's time. You know what I mean? Like waiting, years for 10%, and I've been oppressed, and I built this country here, and I'm being oppressed and taxed at the same time. It don't make no sense to do that. You know what I mean? So that ride, when it went up there, I was like, yo, because I would still be caught up with my friends talking about, well, I'm still doing this, trading here, I'm doing this, my stock's doing this, and I haven't yet experienced a 20x, a 10x. So I was still like feeling like, oh man, I might have made the wrong decision because I wasn't where everybody else was. But once that thing hit 2,000, once it hit about 20K and that 20X was real, there was nothing more to talk about with me. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I started feeling like I knew that the right decision had been made. So now it's time to really, really buckle down and, do more of it.
And I kind of want to talk into how do you buy Bitcoin? What do you do? Do I just go on like Robinhood? Do I go on?
I mean, nah, don't so no, like, man, Robinhood trash. I'm gonna tell you this, like, and like for people who, I mean, yeah, Cash App is straight, and when folks take the course, they learn better ways. But Cash App is straight. It's easy, but it's not the way to go. I do not tell people Coinbase. Really, like, Coinbase is not even worth talking about. If there's any way someone wanted to buy it immediately, you could do it with Cash App. Now, if you want to really understand what it is, then of course you have to do what others do. But Cash App is an easy way to buy it.
And I always did hear people, I know you just said edit out the Coinbase stuff, but I always heard people like talk about Coinbase because I remember whenever I first kind of I started throwing money in it on Robinhood. And then I came across a tweet. Dude was like, if you just putting your money in on Robinhood, you don't own that shit. It was like, you basically just kind of like trading it, but it was like, you don't own that. So like, can you kind of break that down? Like,
yeah, so you don't own, all right, you don't own it on Cash App, you don't own it on Coinbase, and you don't own it on Robinhood. If you don't have the proper measures to secure your Bitcoin, it ain't yours. Like, I can guarantee you the next bull run, Coinbase gonna go down. And it's what Coinbase always does. If you do that, if you let's say, you done made a good bit of money and you can't get to your Bitcoin immediately and it takes a few days, the price could go down by then, so you don't really own the Bitcoin. So the way to secure it, you want to have access to your keys. And if it ain't your keys, it's not your Bitcoin.
And I think that was Jared was telling us about this one guy. He had like a key. I think he had like 3 Bitcoin on there. He forgot his damn password and his shit just been locked.
Yeah, he had it on a drive and he forgot the password and he can't remember it. Like, he done tried everything. But I think he said he put some type of safety measure on it too. Like, if he do too many times in a shorter period of time or something, that like it'll delete everything on there. So like every once in a while he'll get a guess, but other than that, it's locked.
Yeah, it's that serious. I mean, so that's something we dive into, just knowing how to secure your Bitcoin. That's the first thing I teach people, because since it is decentralized, there's no one to call, and people have never really been, I'm gonna be honest, most of the people in the world have never been 100% control or responsible over their money. I could just call the bank, they get it back. Like, Bitcoin is something different, like you really have to be responsible over this, because if your stuff falls in the wrong hands, you're not getting that back. Like, if someone was to find that man, if someone was to find his 3 Bitcoins and they can unlock it, they're not giving it back. We off to the races, and you cannot prove, like, there's no one to call, man. Like, it's over. So I teach that security piece a lot, because that's the first thing I go over, even before buying Bitcoin. Because I remember a time it was someone, they lost their phone, and they're like, man, I had some Bitcoin on there, Justin. What can I do? Can I get it back? I said, do you got your keys? Nah, bro, I ain't even write it down. I'm like, oh, well, I told you from day one. The first thing that came out of my mouth, don't play around. And that's what happened. So, that's why it's so serious. Like, Jared has a great story of a homeboy or whoever, like, I hope he finds it one day. I hope he just miraculously it comes out. But if you don't have, like, and that's another thing, there's so much lost Bitcoin out there. It's crazy. So much lost Bitcoin out there.
That was my next question. I was about to say, so if it's lost, like, this shit just gone?
I mean, if you can find the private keys, you can get it. If you can't find those private keys, it's just going to be there holding the price up. Like, imagine losing gold. Imagine losing cash, like cash. You lose a duffel bag full of cash,
It's gone.
Ain't nobody. Yeah, it's gone.